This is the pre-recorded lecture about the F1 mode in the strings unit. Mode lab has two parts, part A and part B. Before we start, we need to understand what is the given part about the precondition and environment of this lab. This lab will give you one array, which is pre-made. The name is Tully. This is one of the sample of the Tully. If you look at here, the Tully is an integer type array, which has a index number between 0 through 15, and each value will be also integer. Actually, the index number means in the data set values. So data sets will have, one data set can have a value 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 15. Then the Tully's value 0, 10, 5, those means that is a frequency. How many times that data occurs in the data set? Actually, value 0 occurred none. Value 1 occurred 0 times, but value 2 occurred 10 times. So, for example, if Tully index number 4 is 10, that means the data set has a value 4 10 times. So what we are going to do is we are going to calculate the modes. When we have those data set, if we count, if we want mode, it will say what value occurred the most. So it's going to return 2, 4, 11 in this case, because frequency 10 means the most occurred. Then what values most occurred is 2, 4, and 11, the index numbers. So calculate modes will return an array with the size 3 and values 2, 4, and 11. To do this one, you have to do some steps. First, you are going to think about, you're going to find the maximum frequency. In this case, the program will offer, our shellcode will offer find the max method, so you can just use it. Find the max method will return 10, because 10 is the most occurred frequency. Then, by using this find the max method, you are going to finish a calculate modes method. In the APCS exam, you will see the may many times, like for example in here, we are going to see you may call method find the max specified above. Actually, if you do not call the find the max method, you are going to lose a point. So we can say whenever you see may, that means it must. You must call method find max. Then this find the max, if you look at here, it is private. Usually, if you make a private method, that means this one will be used for other method, not as itself. So we can say this one is a private helper method. So private helper method, the find the max will be used inside of the calculate mode. How can I use? First, you are going to call find the max method by passing the array, in this case Tully. Then you are going to get the value, the 10 in this specific Tully array. You may want to store this one into a variable because you do not want to call find the max again and again. So I'm going to make max val variable, then store what find the max Tully will return. So after I call this one time, I'm going to use max val again and again. Then also you need to know the size of the array, because array you cannot change the size in the middle. So at the beginning you have to know how many modes you have. So you are going to make a variable size. Int size will start from 0. Then you are going to figure out how many max value you see inside of the Tully array. So you are going to go through the Tully array, then you are going to increase your size whenever you see the max value. After you get the size, you are going to declare and instantiate. Declare means you are going to say type, because this is an array, so int bracket will be the type. Then you are going to name it, array name. So I'm gonna say like a array name. You are gonna name it. This is the declare part, declaration. Then your array is actually an object, so you have to instantiate. That means you have to use a new keyword to make an object. New, then when you make the static array, the row array, you are going to say type again, integer type array, you are going to say type again, then you are going to give the size. This part is instantiation. Then you created an array with a specific size. So they are empty now. Actually, that one has all initial value 0. Now, step 3, actually, next page has a step 3 again. Fill the new array with the index numbers of max value. So we already made array in the step 2, but actually this array has 3 zeros in this specific case. Then, like array name is pointing this array, you are going to go through the tally again. Then whenever you find the max value, you are going to store the index into the array, the new array. So after you found the max value 10, at the first time index should be 2, so you are going to store 2 as a value. Then when you find the next max value, you are going to get the index 4, so you are going to store. Then next time 11, you are going to store. In that case, tally's index number and your array name's index number will not match. When you get index 2 in the tally, your index will be 0 at the new array. When you get index number 4 in the tally, your index number for the new array will be index 1. That means you have a new variable for tracking where to store your values. Then when you return, after you are done filling out the array, you are going to return that array. When you return the array, don't put anything after the array name, just the array name, that's it. No bracket. This is the calculate mode. That's the part A. Now let's think about the part B. Part B, now we are going to think about the data set. So there's a no value 0, no value 1. So data set will start from value 2. Value 2 will occur 10 times. Then value 3 will occur 5 times. Value 4 will occur 10 times. So you're going to figure out what is the case data value. So when you pass a tally array, if you say 1, that means you want to know first the data value of the data. We assume this is in ascending order. So first the data will be 2. So when you call case data value tally 1, it will return to 2. The 14th data is 3, so it will return 3. 15th data is 3, so it will return 3. And 16th data is 4, so it will return 4. So you can think about when you have a case K value, so for example 15, you are going to visit every single cell. You are going to cell 0, then you are going to, it's going to happen nothing, so you are going to just subtract 0. Then subtract 0, subtract 10. So K value will be now 5. You're going to update that. Then when you visit the index 3, you are going to subtract 5. So I'm going to subtract 5. Now K value will be updated as 0. That means I'm done. So we know 15th value is 3. How about if it's 16th? I'm going to subtract 10 first. Then it becomes 5. Then subtract 5. Now it becomes 1, still positive. Now I'm going to subtract 10 when I am at index 4. Then I'm going to get negative 9. Oh, this one is now negative. That means I found my case data. So you can return the current index of 4. So we can think about the pseudocode. You're gonna go through each cell in the tally array. Then each time you are going to update the k value by subtracting what tally has. So that means you are going to subtract the frequency. Then whenever you found the k is 0 or negative, that means you found the case value, so you are going to return the index number, the position. So if your current position was 4, you are going to return the 4 because that is the value actually, the case value. Then because this case data value method is a return method and you should return integer, even though you are going to be done in the for loop, you need default return value because you have to avoid the compile error. So you are going to return -1 at the end in the method. Now let's see the shellcode. The shellcode is given in the Blackboard as a zip file. So you are going to extract all into your Google Drive. That's a recommended way. So I extracted all my student shells, the 01 strings, inside of my 01 strings folder. Then I go to the 01 mode. So I have now modes.java here. Then I'm going to open this modes.java. This is the shellcode. Even though it has lots of parts already filled, actually I have to finish calculate modes, and if you scroll down, case data value. Find the max and display methods are given, so you don't touch anything, just use them. If I come back, the very first step is writing the name. So I'm going to write my name. Then date. Actually, today is September 8th, 2020. So I'm going to write the date. Then I'm going to say what is the given. So total is integer array which has those values. Oh, it's matching with the paper, but actually when I test it, it's gonna be different. So you cannot hard code. Then you can, this part is a kind of shortcut of returning an array, but you don't really need to know about this one because you are going to write the code and make your own array, and you're going to return that array. Case data value already gave you the default return value, so you are going to just write down how to find the case data value, that part, so your code goes there, then that's it. Can I compile and run? Actually, yes. You are going to compile, then you are going to run. Then you will see the initial values printed here. First, what tally has is printed. So the last one means value 15 occurred one time. We already know from the paper. Then looks like this one is printing the how many modes. The size of the modes array is not always 3. It can be different. Then, but it's going to be printed. Like in our case, you are going to print 2, 4, 11. If you have a 2, 4, 11, that means you did it correctly. Then case data will start from value 2. Then at the end, you are going to end with value 15. But if you see in the tally, value 15 occurs only one time. Then 14, 13, 12. The second last value will be 12. So if you see 15 only one time at the end, you probably did it correctly. Then you are going to submit. About the submission instruction will be given in class. I want you enjoy this lab.